really nice moment with Girls and the Dog, Lucky, and she
I thought
gets
the dog's name was Pizza Dog.
I thought the dog's name was Lucky.
I thought the dog's name was Pizza Dog.
I thought it was Lucky the pizza dog.
Oh, it's Lucky the Pizza Dog?
Hi everyone, we are Screen Sisters.
Hello.
We are doing our episode 5 review of Hawkeye, which was titled
Ronin.
She said it right.
It's Ronin.
It is wrong is what it is. Okay, so how did episode 5 start?
Episode 5 started with Yelena breaking into that house.
With a flashback to 2018 when Yelena was still breaking all the widows out of their mind control.
Brainwashed, yeah.
Yeah, mind control. But she really walked in her house like she was gonna murder her, so I understand why a fight ensued.
The way she didn't even flinch though when she threw that saucer at her though. That's cold. Anywho, I like that it opened with the music. Well, obviously the scoring from Black Widow, but the dialogue, some of the dialogue we were hearing from the film itself. That movie is sad.
Yeah, Black Widow is sad, man. It's probably the saddest of all of them. Maybe just to me.
Yeah, and then we can confirm that Yelena was in fact blipped.
Yeah,
and I think that adds to why Natasha was willing to sacrifice herself, and then to sacrifice herself for this family that she had and lost, but then also to save her friend in the process so that he could have a second chance to be with his family and do right by them. And that is a big thing she did for him, because even if you think of Age of Ultron, Laura was talking, Natasha, when they were driving in the car, Natasha was saying, oh, you'll just find something else to rip up again after that to work on. And he's like, no, I'm done after that. Like, he kept finding stuff to fix around the house rather than just spending time with his family, I think is what she was getting at.
Oh, no, I think that's a sense of when people who have their own house, they always are just looking to fix it. And also people have to fix their houses all the time. Like,
right.
You need new windows, you need new shutters,
True.
you need new carpet, you need a new counter in your kitchen. Like, people who have actual houses need to fix stuff, like, constantly. So I just thought that was that sense of how, like, whenever you're, it looked like they probably built that home because it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. So I'm sure Clint probably built it himself.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or, Nick Fury came and helped them build it. So, I just thought it was a stay-at-home dad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta, build a new gate for the garage or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what men build gates for.
And it was interesting to see how Yelena came back too, because thus her surroundings were changing.
Yeah.
And I don't think we had seen that before. And
because when Monica blipped, she just blipped back into a chair.
Can I tell you something? That after I saw that in Hawkeye, when she blipped back and everything changed, and then I was thinking about when Monica blipped back and nothing changed, I was like, are we really not upgrading our hospitals fast enough? That's what I was thinking.
You could be right.
Oh, man.
But I don't think we had this whole, I think I'm not saying it's different writers and different directors, but I'm sure their interpretation of it was just like the person came back right where they left. But this particular episode showed that there may have been some type of like spatial aura.
Oh.
Like some spatial aura that blipped as well. So if she came back to the same area, but she literally saw her walls changing. Because wouldn't you think you'd be blipped back and everything would be new? Like, she saw walls changing. So I wonder if it was just like some aura area type thing, spatial awareness.
Oh, so like, okay, I got you. So it was like on like a box she was in, and that box blipped with her. The box blipped, yeah. And it held her in that time and space for 5 years. Seemingly in that moment. And then when she came back, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we also saw that interpretation, though, of the blip in Spider-Man Far From Home, because...
Yeah, but it was just with the people, not necessarily with the things around those people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, I mean, we don't really know for sure. And then after the whole, the blipping situation.
Do you think that they're going to get sick of having to address the blip? Because I feel like that's the baggage that comes with Endgame, I guess, is that now it's trying to figure out with every new character that you introduce, have they been blipped? Were they here the whole time? That sort of thing.
I haven't thought about that, but I feel like now you say it, I think they have addressed blipping.
And almost everything we've seen since, which is fine. Mm-hmm. When do we get to the point where they don't have to address their blip anymore?
Probably after.
Or I guess...
Well, see, this is the very beginning of Phase 4. Mm-hmm. So, the end of Phase 3 period was blips. Mm-hmm. So, Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. So now we're doing everything again. We're building everything up again. So I'm assuming, how many times did they reference, the big guy that fell from space? Mm-hmm. Like they reference that a lot. The guy with the hammer, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the reference maintains as long as we're not tired of hearing it yet.
Here's the thing. There are people who watch these movies who have no idea what's going on.
That's true. Because I think they were saying that for WandaVision, people had never even...
People didn't understand why Wanda had her own show. Okay. Because people don't know how powerful she is. Oh, okay. So when she had her own show, they were like, why are they giving, that random girl who does telekinesis and a dead robot the show? People didn't know that they are, in love in the comics and, they had a whole life.
Oh, so basically they weren't able to piece that together from the film. Which is fine, because if you don't know the stories, then you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I knew it immediately. As soon as I saw... I knew we were getting Scarlet Witch, and then just when I completely, phased them when we got Vision, I was just like, oh my god. I was like, imagine what they could do. But, this was 2015, so I was just like, imagine what they could do if they could actually do a House of M storyline and how she loses her mind. Imagine how that would be. And I remember thinking about that for forever ago. Mm-hmm. And then when they announced WandaVision, I was like...
Are they going to do it?
It was that's her biggest story.
Yeah.
You can't talk to one, Wanda fan without them referencing House of M.
Yeah.
So... And, of course, Elizabeth Olsen also wanted to do that story.
Right.
So, they gave it to us, and it was great. Okay, we can just talk about Wanda for no reason at all. We can go back to Ronin, episode 5 of Hawkeye.
So, it seemed like
the conversation between Kate and her mom.
Yeah, Kate and her mom, which I really liked. I think Kate realized the severity of the situation she is now a part of. But also I like that moment where it was kind of like after having that conversation with her mother, it was like she went and sat alone, and she's remembering her father now, and she decides that she's going to pursue this until the end and basically finish the journey she's set out on with Clint, at least, and to help this person, because I think that's really what she wants to do, is help Clint. Mm-hmm. More than anything, and to help him get back to his family. And that's important to her because she lost her father at a young age, and I'm sure she doesn't want to carry that burden of, oh, I could have helped this man get back home to his family, and now his kids have to grow up without their father.
Okay, so then after we have that moment with Clint and her mother where, she's, stitching her up, we go to Kazi and Maya, where he's doing the same thing to her. And I thought
stitching her up. It's a lot of parallels in this.
And it's really sweet because, she thinks, she just wants revenge for her father's death. And, any woman, any person, I don't know why I said woman, any person, of course, will know what that feels like. And then she said there was another woman on the roof, referencing Yelena, meaning everything that's happening is bigger than what she thought. But she has no idea what's happening, and no one really has any idea what's happening. And
it almost makes, it's like now we're feeling a lot of sympathy for Maya, because she's just, all she wants is to avenge her father.
Of course.
That's all she wants.
So and
it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Because she just wants answers, and she's not getting to them as quickly and as neatly as she'd like.
Yeah. And you know what else I think really like messed up the storyline, which I'm sure is again the naivete of Kate Bishop, was in episode 2 when she, or was that 3, when she just dropped in trying to save Clint, and he was clearly fine.
Yeah.
And you know, it seemed like possibly it could have been handled very quickly, but you know, I didn't think they would try to kill Clint. But then you know, Kate came in and he was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And
because it seemed like he was already prepared to tell her that the Ronin is dead and that Natasha killed him. And I think he was leaning into that being the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that situation, did you feel like Kazi was hiding something then in that conversation with him and Maya?
Well, he kind of went from not really caring about it to begin with. Then, you know, in the next conversation, he was saying that it got out of hand and that we don't want your uncle to find out. And I felt like this last episode was the first time he mentioned killing Ronin. Am I wrong? Is that the first time he actually mentioned it?
I assume that's been the conversation they've had many times. Like, we have to kill him.
Yeah. So, and he's like, as soon as we're done, you know, as soon as we kill him, then we're done with this. It almost seems like he wasn't sure of who Ronin was. He didn't know who Ronin was, I don't think. Right? And he didn't know who he was probably until Clint got in his car and said she's chasing a ghost. Maybe he figured it out then. I don't know if he knows who he is. But he showed his face to Maya, which stopped Maya, I think, from killing him because she's like, oh shit, it's an Avenger. It's Hawkeye.
I don't think she thought about that process. I think she was just like, oh shit, it's Clint.
Oh shit, it's Clint, yeah. And I think he's probably just anxious to kill Ronin at first sight because he doesn't want Ronin to talk. That would be my guess.
Of course, yeah, because he'll say, I know who hired me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was the chat later on with Yelena and Kate. Belova and Bishop. Bishop.
I'm going to say this as many times as possible. I love Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, she's got all the style. Like, all the style this season. And we've only seen her twice so far.
I really like, I'm just trying to figure out why she thinks that, why she wants to kill Clint, because he's not technically responsible for, you know.
Her logic doesn't make any sense to me either.
Natasha's murder, not unless someone, you know, whatever, but I'm assuming once we get that conversation with him and Yelena, with Clint and Yelena, we'll figure it out, but I'm just really hoping that, like, she doesn't kill him, or, like, you know.
But she knows that was her sister's best friend, I think, right? I mean, they at least had that moment.
But
when
you know,
were in the air ducts
she
together.
may not know how long her and Clint actually, like, this was 2016, so 2 years later. Maybe we do know, maybe we don't. I just think maybe she's just under the impression that he like pushed her off the cliff or something.
Oh.
So he could live, but
okay.
You know, Yelena's mind is, you know, he was Ronin, so he should have just sacrificed himself.
Right.
But I mean, let's not forget that Natasha was also a trained assassin and a member of the KGB, correct? So, you know, you can't just excuse one for the other just because you're related to them. And I'm sure that's how everybody thinks, though. You know, that's my family.
Steve and Bucky.
Yes, Steve and Bucky.
Is Yelena okay? So when Yelena was at that woman's house and Anna's house, she was talking about being a paid contractor. Can we assume that that's what Yelena immediately went to do after she blipped back? She became a contractor, which is how she ended up with Valentina.
Possibly. Like, we don't know. So unless it's announced that we're getting a Thunderbolts or we're getting a Dark Avengers or we're getting.
I'm just talking about her being a contractor.
No, I know. Oh, okay. I'm saying, but right now we don't know. But I'm saying unless it's addressed in something else, we're still not going to know.
Okay.
That was it. That's all I was going to say. Because we don't know.
Yeah, but that was also a good conversation between those two. What do you think? Do you think she scared Kate?
Yelena?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. They both did really well in that scene together. They play off of each other very well. Grills is the best.
Yeah.
He's just darn sweet. And he's just a genuinely caring person. And I hope we see more of him if should there be another season.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
And he's like the friend that Clint needed but didn't know he needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that I think it's adorable that all the LARPers are like cops and firemen and not like, you know, people who like, you know, work at the mall or, you know, having some like other random job. It's like, I think probably the negative portrayal of police in the past 2 years probably didn't benefit that at all. So if they made like some nerdy LARPers, the NYPD, people were probably like, oh, that's cute. So,
yeah.
I think that's a good idea. It's cute. Okay, so then after that...
So then Kate gets back to her house and she sees her mother
Jack being arrested by men who have no labels or anything on their clothes, just men in their house, and Jack smiling saying, I'll be out of here in a jiffy for the Christmas party.
And I'd be making that Christmas party on time if it wasn't for you darn meddling kids.
Yeah, see, here's so for that situation, either Eleanor is just like Jack playing along because you know, Kate has to be right. They can either do that situation where you know he's just playing along to you know make her happy, or we're actually getting a throwing Jack under the bus type thing that Eleanor is doing just to make sure Kate doesn't know it's actually her. So what if what if she has just put Jack's name on everything in the company that has everything to do with the tracksuits? So he will be responsible if anything ever comes back to her. It'll all go back to Jack. If his name is on something like Sloan Limited and it's a shell company that doesn't exist and it's actually just funding money to the tracksuits and it's not her name, that makes sense.
I think she likes him though. Like,
no, of course. Yeah. I feel
like
he could be a scapegoat. It doesn't matter who you love; they're a scapegoat. It's just
because they're all sociopaths,
and it's just business, Angela. It's just business. But like I said, we don't know. We won't find out until the next episode. Episode 6.
I think they're in it together.
Okay.
Whatever is happening, they're in it together. But I think that it was just too perfect of timing for it to have been real. It's almost as if, like, the doorman, she probably told the doorman to let her know when Kate's downstairs so that they can make sure everybody's in place. And then, for all we know, those could have been 2 guys that actually work for her, those cops.
Yeah, work for him or work for her. Fiscor Valentina. What plaque?
So what do you feel about... Oh, the plaque, yeah. So do you have any other thoughts on Eleanor, or... That pretty much wraps it up.
No, just either, you know, she's
sus.
She's super suspect because she has someone's number in her phone that she can just call and say we have a problem. And there has been a problem this entire time. Like every 3 minutes. And it all goes back to the very first episode where, you know, she is wearing a red dress and is going to a party and Armand is yelling and then there is a secret black auction. So
at the building where she's at, where she claims to have been surprised about.
Yeah. So she shot Tupac too.
Yeah, the plaque outside of the 42nd.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That was nice.
Did you like it?
I did.
And they're calling him Thor Odinson.
Yeah. I don't know. When I saw the plaque, I thought of, I don't know, I was like, oh, a plaque is nice, but I'm like, I feel like I would like a statue. But that's just me being extra.
Of all of them?
Yeah.
Who's got that kind of time?
Age of Ultron. The end.
That was CGI.
I know.
And it was beautiful.
I know. But yeah, that plaque was nice, and that moment was nice, and he was asking for forgiveness for about what he's gonna do next. And I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to go kill Yelena.
No,
I'm sure
I know.
He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he would never. I don't think he would have. He didn't want anyone else to die.
Yeah.
So when I was watching it, I was just like, what is he about to go do? Because I was concerned for that as well. And then he ends up just going pretty much to scare Maya, saying like, trick.
Basically saying, I can kill you all if I want to at any time I want, and I'm choosing not to. Please stay away from my family.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
I will have to do the thing I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Which is murder all of you.
Yeah.
And I think that him pointing the direction at someone else, you know, was like kind of sort of what he had to do because she was going to try to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he said, we are the same, we're weapons. That was really important because we really,
She's a weapon.
You don't realize that we're watching just weapons of mass destruction just commit every type of crime in the world. And I think that that still conversation could be traced back to, of course, the Sokovia Accords. And does that exist anymore, the Sokovia Accords?
That is a good question. I have no idea.
It probably doesn't.
It probably didn't exist. I'm going to go off on a tangent. It probably didn't exist during the snap, but we can talk about that in another video.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. Okay, so also, I really liked when he went to the plaque to talk to Natasha because he took out the thing.
Yeah.
But at that moment, though, I really thought Yelena was gonna, like, shoot a bow and arrow at him or, like, shoot a bullet. Like, the moment was so sweet.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be undercut by, like, her finding him in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And, like, attacking him. Okay, so after the fight with them and we get to the end and they're sitting with girls again and they having like a really nice moment with girls and the dog, Lucky. And she gets...
the dog's name was Pizza Dog.
I thought the dog's name was Lucky.
I thought the dog's name was Pizza Dog.
I thought it was Lucky the Pizza Dog.
Oh, it's Lucky the Pizza Dog?
So in that scene, and at, you know, at the end when she does have that conversation with Kazi saying, you know, why weren't you there that night? And then he, you know, Clint told her.
Yeah.
As an informant. Who else possibly could it have been? So.
Because he's,
Yeah, so, you know, we're gonna, of course, we have one more episode left. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. We have Kazi, we have Fisk, we have Maya, we have Clint, we have Kate, we have Yelena, we have Eleanor, we have Jack, we have all of these ties.
All these pieces in play. Yeah,
we have so much going on. And then, of course, if she, you know, is related to Val, or if they're sisters, which is what the conspiracy theory is, then
is it going to be like a choose your destiny thing for Kate then? She's like, I can either be evil like my mom, or I can be a savior like my dad. But you know what? I think the hard truth is going to come next episode too, that she's going to find out her dad wasn't a good guy. What do you think?
I'm thinking Eleanor killed him.
You think Eleanor killed him? But do you think he was... But I'm asking, do you think he was a part of Fisk's operation as well, or do you think the Fisk thing...
If Fisk is behind everything, then yes.
Okay.
So we finally get to the end when you find out that Eleanor is the one that hired Yelena, and then she sends a picture of a very fuzzy, tall, white-suited man
who probably is in love.
Holding a cane. You embarrassed me in front of Vanessa. And we finally get to the actual point that it's actually Wilson Fisk, and everybody can shut up because we all knew it was happening, but now we're all happy because it's actually happening, and we're all super excited.
I personally didn't have verification until I saw his name in the credits. That was when I knew for sure.
I knew for sure once people said they're doing the Matt Fraction of Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, and look at all the promo art, and Vincent D'Onofrio liked this tweet about Kingpin coming back, and because that's literally what it's like on Twitter right now.
Yeah. That's all we have.
Yes.
This Wednesday is the day. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back for the series. We don't know if it's we don't know if it's gonna be. We don't know for sure. So we'll be back for the season/series finale of Hawkeye. And thank you, and it's been a blast, and can't wait to do it again.